White House Chief of Staff John Kelly under fire this morning as the background check timeline for former White House Staff Secretary Rob Porter is called into question. FBI Director Christopher Wray and White House Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders laid out the details yesterday. Watch this.
The FBI submitted a partial report on the investigation in question in March. And then a completed background investigation in late July. That is soon thereafter, we received requests for follow-up inquiry, and we did the follow-up and provided that information in November, and then we administratively closed the file in January.
The FBI portion was closed. The White House Personnel Security Office, who is the one that makes a recommendation for adjudication, had not finished their process and therefore not made a recommendation to the White House.
So they're blaming John Kelly. The White House is insisting that General Kelly will stay in his role as the president's chief of staff. Joining us right now is Fox News senior judicial analyst Judge Andrew Napolitano. Judge, good to see you.
Oh, good morning.
What do you think should happen here?
It's more and more apparent that the White House did not move quickly enough on this extremely hot button and potentially dangerous issue. Now, whether this sat on General Kelly's desk or whether it sat in some security official's desk before it made its way to General Kelly, it should have come to him immediately. Stated differently, when Director Wray said we gave a preliminary report in March, that report must have had the allegations in it, and the allegations were so incendiary they should have gone right to General Kelly. Yeah. If they didn't, then there's a breakdown in the mechanisms that he put in place. If they did and he sat on it, then the president has to revisit General Kelly's tenure.
Look, the Journal today writes an op-ed, Kelly and the Chaos. It isn't clear what good his dismissal would do beyond satisfying Mr. Trump's opponents. I'm just saying, I think people like General Kelly where he is. He's put structure in the White House, and that's what they're making the case today in the Journal. I agree with you,
and I agree with the Wall Street Journal. It would delight the president's opponents and disrupt the White House until a new person came in and put that person's structures in place. On the other hand, the visual is very bad.
Very bad.
We all saw those photographs. We read the op-ed by one of the former wives. The evidence of Porter's behavior, of inappropriate and criminal behavior, is overwhelming, and nothing was done.
The communication of this, though, by the White House is appalling, though. That for them to say repeatedly that the investigation was ongoing and then seemingly changing the narrative yesterday that this was this was in the Office of Personnel Management, although the FBI background check had been wrapped up. And then John Kelly told the Wall Street Journal yesterday, asked if the White House should have handled Mr. Porter's situation any differently. He said no, it was all done right. And who's the head of communications but Hope Hicks, who was dating Rob Porter?
The general statement is without credibility, and you saw Chris Wray's response. It was clear, crisp, credible, and not challenged. And that timeline that the FBI gave is so at odds with what the White House is saying, and the White House is not credible in this dispute.
Do you think anything's going to happen? I wonder.
You know,
think
there's
John
these
Kelly
rumors
leaves?
that the president is unhappy with Kelly. That
I don't believe it.
I don't believe it either. I think that General Kelly is the adult in the room, and Donald Trump knows that and needs
He might be
him
annoyed
there.
with him. I mean, but I don't know. It's going to take a lot, I think, to get him fired.
Well, who dropped the ball in this then? That's the central question. Because
he may have dropped the ball.
Because Rob Porter had an interim security clearance, and he was handling very sensitive information passed to the president daily as the staff secretary. But there have literally been dozens of top officials within the White House that have had interim security clearances in the first year.
I don't know who dropped the ball, but whoever it was on General Kelly's watch, and it was on a person that works for General Kelly.
Right.
Whether it was the general personally, literally himself, we may never know.
So, Judge, we need accountability here. Is basically what we need to give accountability to this situation, but also to give credibility to the White House, that if a mistake was made, mistakes happen. So it needs to be addressed, and whoever was responsible for it needs to own up to that.
I'm a fan of the generals, as I know you are, Maria.
Well,
I don't know how he can say
I don't know him at all. I mean,
I don't know how he can say nothing was done wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know how he can say that.
Right. No, just to be clear, I don't know him at all. I just know that there are people out there who want him in place. They feel that he put structure in the White House. So
Right.
I don't know him in any way.
There are people out there who don't want him in there because they want to frustrate Donald Trump's ability to be president.
And they also want open door
Disruption.
access to the president. They want to be able to come and go as they please. Because what John Kelly did as the chief of staff, he cut down on the number of interlopers walking in and out of the Oval Office.
Put a lock on the door.
Exactly. He got rid of Steve Bannon, who was clearly leaking information to the press, and Omarosa, and people who were destructive to the presidency, who created
We've got to talk about the memos.
Long knives out for John Kelly, and they're from people in the West Wing.
Exactly.